Three targets the Chicago Bulls should target. Three targets the Chicago Bulls should target. So with this video is it's kind of funny because at the time when I was writing down my three targets that the Chicago Bulls can potentially target in the buyout market. One guy I had on there was the guy, as we all know, in the name of Tristan Thompson. I had him on my list, but as we seen yesterday, we signed him. So in a way, my thought process of us, possibly getting and signing Tristan Thompson in the buyout market came to fruition. So I'll still talk about him and still, talk about what he brings to this team. But yeah, I probably will make a separate video on him and break it down like everything he brings to the Bulls. So for this video, I'm gonna be focusing on my other two targets that I would love to see the Bulls get and sign off the buyout market. But man, if you're a Bulls fan or you just love NBA content, man, hit that like button. Comment on the videos. Some guys you might want to see us, possibly add to this team, in the buyout market. Maybe I missed some names or some guys that's floating out there. So leave that in the comments, man, and hit the like button. And like I said, subscribe. But man, so as we all know, fans was freaking out that the Bulls didn't make any moves at the deadline. A lot of people didn't understand why we didn't make any moves. Now I also have a video explaining why we didn't make moves, and I'll leave that video up here somewhere. But for me, when I made that video, it was pretty simple to why the Bulls decided to not make any moves at the deadline. One of the reasons, I mentioned in that video, you just don't want to give up, the assets you have in Patrick Williams and Coby White, who those assets it was going to take, to get you a player in Harrison Barnes or the Jeremy Grant that a lot of the people was talking about a lot. And I just didn't see us giving up those assets, in particular because those assets, are big pieces to this team, right now, especially with all the injuries. But if you want to know the other reasons that I laid down, you can check out that video. But so now since the trade deadline is in the rearview mirror, the more realistic options I felt would come by in the buyout market. Which, like I said, it kind of already did because we already done, signed Tristan Thompson once he clears, waiver. But currently, man, for like when I look at this Bulls team every night, I think the needs that we need, currently right now until we can get our guys back, probably mid-March when we get Caruso and Lonzo back. I feel like in this buyout market we needed a backup big. Which of course we get in Tristan Thompson already, and then I feel like, me personally, I wouldn't mind another wing because I'm not really a fan of Troy Brown and the Alfonso McKinneys of the world. They just don't do it for me. And two, I feel like I wouldn't mind another guard to fill a gap, until we can get our guards back in Lonzo and Caruso. So these two guys in particular, I felt would be solid additions to this team, going forward, the rest of the season, and for now, since we have the injuries that we do, and my number one guy as far as just getting the guard was a guy in Goran Dragic. Now Dragic has hardly played this season. The Spurs just recently bought him out, and the question, I had, where is he gonna land, man? It's a lot of teams that's just after his services, like teams like the Milwaukee Bucks, the Miami Heat. Now, in one team, the Mavs were the logical favorites because of Luka, and the team need for another playmaker. But Dallas, at the deadline, as we all know, decided to sign a guy in Dinwiddie. And GM Nico Harrison, he basically dismissed the buyout market, which lessons that likelihood of going Jokic possibly going to the Mavs, on who we all thought, he probably was gonna choose. And for me, if you the Bulls, it's kind of perfect. Like your guard rotation won't be whole, especially with the injuries to Caruso and Ball, possibly for another month, which makes sense to bring in a guy like Dragic, who can be a stopgap. He's averaging 13.4 points a game, 4.4 assists, and is shooting 37.2% from three. Also, he has experience, running a team and playing deep into the postseason. So in that aspect, for me, it makes sense on why we should, possibly look at Drake. I don't know necessarily if we're gonna get him just because the competition is stiff of teams that's gonna be, looking to, run at him. But he's a guy I'm guessing you will have to, put on the list for sure. My guy coming in at number 2 is a guy in Gary Harris. Now the Bulls is probably going to sell Gary Harris on a marginal role, especially when this team is healthy. As we know, he probably is not going to get a whole lot of time just because once we get all our guys back, there's not going to be really no minutes. But for me personally, man, you can never have enough 3-and-D guys. He definitely would take over from guys like Troy Brown and Malcolm Hill and Alfonso McKinney. Like I said, I'm not really fond of those guys, and me personally, I would love to upgrade if we can. If Gary Harris is bought up, because I think he's still on the team, I would love to have him as a 3-and-D option besides Troy Brown and Malcolm Hill and all them guys. They don't do it for me. Maybe for y'all, but for me personally, it's a pass for me. Now Harris, he's still 27. He defends the perimeter aggressively, and he's shooting 38.8% from behind the arc this season. And that's a guy, especially when you running lineups of when you get DeMar DeRozan on the floor by himself. When you're giving guys like Zach and Vooch a rest, you could put in Gary Harris as like a spot up shooter or whatever. And and DeRozan can when he get a double, he can pitch it to him, and so and then like I said, he's a great defender. So those are just guys that I kind of just had in my mind of who I wouldn't mind us getting after the buyout market. Like I said, if you have any guys that you would love to see on this team, leave it in the comments if I missed any. And like always, like I said at the beginning, if you're a Bulls fan, if you just love NBA content, man, or in general, man, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button, but yeah, man, that's pretty much gonna be BF me out.